Mike is a beloved New York rapper who has won over audiences for damn near a decade, with a big discography of beloved independently released projects, with his distinctive deep voice and impressive rhyme schemes filled with introspective bars. He has somehow found himself in the middle of a discourse after a tour stop in Italy where some 16-year-old kids in the front row brought a chessboard to the show in reference to a meme that made its rounds a year or so ago about what a Mike mosh pit is like. Which is just playing on the fact that, Mike's music is probably not what you would imagine to hear in a mosh pit. It's not The kids thought it was funny at first, but plenty of people on the internet didn't think so, including one of Mike's closest collaborators, Niante, and also Mike himself. Here was his response on Twitter. "Yeah, F them little Italian kids. I told them what's up after I finished performing Stop Worry, but I wasn't about to stop rapping because they were being nerds. Also, I wasn't going to discipline no 16-year-olds, that's their parents' job. But just to reiterate, that is not cool. Memes are funny and stuff, but something, at least one thing in your life, gotta be sacred, so you know when to STFU and see when somebody is being real." For what it's worth, the kid that's involved in the video posted an apology, supposedly. It's probably the high school teacher in me, but I'm happy to see a kid that age take accountability and maybe use it as a learning experience. And if it was written by ChatGPT, then I'll take my L. But I'm trying to see the good in people in 2025, so let me try. I'm not about to sit here and read this entire post to you, but if you want to pause the video so you can read it, go ahead. But don't get it twisted, this is not some isolated incident. In recent years, discourse around concert etiquette has popped up more and more, whether it be fans throwing stuff, yelling weird things, even peeing in the mosh pit. Yes, really, peeing in the mosh pit. That is something that really happened. And we're going to talk about general concert etiquette that covers those things. But what I really want to get to the bottom of is the performative meme stuff that has become more and more commonplace at shows. From filming on unorthodox devices, to wearing weird merch that the artist probably wouldn't approve of, to watching Family Guy in the middle of someone's performance. What's up with young people's desire to do things like this? Let's unpack that. But first, if you like videos on music like this one, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. I post a video every week, and I don't miss weeks. If you can hear that I sound a little sick, my eyes have bags around them, it's because I'm sick and I'm tired, but I'm here. And if you want to see all my videos early, go to my Instagram, HADJI Gaviota, throw me a follow, and join my broadcast channel. I post all my videos in that broadcast channel one day early for free. Also wanted to say thanks to everyone who's checked out my group Elmjack's latest song, A Bother. If you like the instrumental playing in the background, that should give you an idea of what it sounds like. I'll put the link to the video in the description. Also, we've got another song coming this month, so stay tuned. Let's get back to the video. People have been throwing stuff at public figures for as long as there have been public figures. In ancient Rome, all the way back in the year 63 AD, the Emperor Vespasian was pelted with turnips. There is a long-standing myth that people used to throw tomatoes at performers in Shakespearean plays. But historians now don't think so because tomatoes didn't show up in English cookbooks until the 1750s, which is almost 200 years after the days of Shakespeare. Still, the Folger's Shakespeare Library says that people were throwing some kind of fruit. It just probably wasn't tomatoes. We can fast forward to the 1960s to find another example of a beloved American musician being heckled while in Europe. Bob Dylan made the infamous switch from acoustic to electric, and some of his fans were not happy about that. And so at a show in Manchester, England in 1966, a member of the crowd infamously kept shouting Judas at him as a reference to the biblical traitor, because they saw him as a traitor for switching over to electric. But that take aged like milk. I mean, look how good Bob Dylan looks in 2025. Clearly he won. Today, many angry fans choose to show off their arms instead of their voices. A couple years ago, Kid Cudi was a last-minute replacement for Kanye West at a Rolling Loud, and fans were not happy about that, and even though it wasn't really his fault, they took it out on him. Some loser threw a bottle that hit him in the head. And then he made the grave error of daring the crowd to do it again. As a teacher, I wish I was there to tell him that daring the kids not to do something will almost guarantee that one of those little contrarians will do it. And of course, guess what happened? A few years before that, one fateful busted Adidas was thrown at DaBaby during a performance, which created a chain of events that led to him saying some unfortunate things about people in parking lots and forever altered his career. There are so many other examples of people throwing things at performers, but a lot of the examples aren't necessarily to cause harm or even show disappointment. A lot of fans are throwing gifts at the performers. Gifts might not be the right word for all the things thrown, as a few years ago, a fan threw their mother's ashes onto stage at a Pink show, which left Pink speechless. More recently, some fan threw their boxers at young rapper Ian while he was performing, which he caught and then immediately dropped when he realized what they were, but then also inexplicably picked them back up before kicking them away. Plenty of artists have had cell phones thrown at them, presumably so that they can take a selfie or a video on it or something. And one thing I've always wondered is, how the hell is the person supposed to get their phone back? Like, what's your plan after that? Like, the phone goes up there. Like, are you gonna go to security and be like, hey, yeah, I was the one who just threw that big heavy hunk of metal at the artist while they were performing? Can I get that back? As an artist myself who's lucky enough to say that I've never been in one of these situations, I can't possibly imagine a single reason why you would need to throw something at them on stage. If you want to give something to an artist, just wait until after the show if the venue is small enough, and if it's big enough, there's probably some sort of meet and greet ticket that you can buy. Because even if the thing you throw is a gift, the performer is probably not going to perceive it that way while they're on stage. To quote one of my favorite Mike songs, I know he hope when he give it, it's only a gift. At the end of the day, it's about time and place. Throwing things on stage is pretty much universally accepted as a loser thing to do. But this mic situation is kind of a different thing. Here, the fans aren't throwing things at the artist or running on stage or even shouting at them necessarily. They're doing things within the crowd for the attention of people in the crowd and maybe for the artist as well. There have been countless lighthearted examples of fans bringing funny devices to record the set on, like a Nintendo DS. A couple months ago, Chapel Roan caught a fan using a DS to record and called them out while she was on stage, and she seemed amused by it, or at least she did in the moment. It's hard to say exactly where and when this trend started, but it's something that people do frequently at shows for artists like 100 Gex or Porter Robinson. You know, fan bases that are kind of memey. Things like this aren't being done to capture nostalgic footage, although there's probably a small minority of people who are doing it to actually get some sort of like cool looking grainy footage from the show. Most people are doing it to either get attention from the artists themselves or from other people in the crowd. Another popular one that some people do is some sort of variation on the "this movie's long as hell" meme, where you pull out your phone to watch an episode of Family Guy or play a game of Subway Surfers like right in the middle of the event. According to Know Your Meme, the first person who ever did this was watching the movie Avatar 2. But it became a thing that people did outside of movie theaters and also at things like concerts. Someone actually did this at one of my shows once, and I thought it was kind of funny. A little overdone, maybe you can come up with something new, but the idea of it doesn't bother me. As long as you're like doing it like this, haha, take a picture, and then you just go back to doing it. Like if you're actually sitting there watching an episode of Family Guy or like playing Subway Surfers at a concert, like you should leave. As one poster on Reddit said, it's pretty much a who's the funniest person at the concert contest thing, like wearing a funny outfit. People have definitely been dressing up in funny outfits to go to concerts for a while now. And honestly, I don't really have an issue with that, as long as you're not like on stilts or wearing like a comically large hat so that you block someone else's view. Because in the vast majority of cases, it's not going to be distracting to the artist or to the other people trying to enjoy the show. There are even artists like Beyonce who give out specific instructions on how they want their fans to dress before they go to their tour stops. And that kind of signifies, that the artist is in on it and wants everybody to have a good time, and it's kind of set some ground rules and created a little universe for their own tours. I remember when I took the SAT, there was a kid I didn't know super well, but I knew him, and he was wearing a banana costume, and everybody kind of got a kick out of it. And I actually just Googled him, and he's a doctor now. So I guess our best and brightest are doing things like this sometimes. There's an added layer of irony with the things that we see today, because we live in an irony-poisoned society, which is something I've already covered in another video, and I can link it in the description if you want to check it out. But then again, there are a few times where wearing something quote-unquote funny for attention at a concert is actually lame as hell. The one that sticks out to me the most in terms of recent things is this kid wore a shirt that has a cropped picture of a leak of the rapper Osama Sun's sex tape. Like, that's not funny. Like, that's just weird to me. Getting your sex tape leaked is obviously a huge invasion of privacy. And then to go to his show and to wear it as like a reminder, it's super disrespectful to me. Also, like, what goes through your mind, like, completing that purchase? Like, how many buttons did you push through to actually buy that shirt? Like, you saw the link, you clicked it, you typed in your credit card information, you put in your address, and then you had it shipped to you, and you opened it, and you tried it on, and you said, yeah, I'm wearing this. Like, what's wrong with you? Osama Sun, to my knowledge, has not shown that he finds that situation to be funny at all. And it's definitely not something that anybody should assume somebody would find funny. So wearing that shirt, yeah, maybe you'll get like a couple giggles in the crowd, but I would imagine you get a lot more like side eyes and just like dirty looks. The internet has definitely roasted that kid kind of hard for it. And I'm not going to show his face because, again, like, I do believe in learning from things, but also his face is all over the internet. So it might be a little late for the protection part. But sometimes all these in-jokes and memes and silly outfits can kind of stack on, and people try to one-up each other so much that it becomes unbearable. Death Grips fans, for example, made a meme out of like wearing silly outfits, with like the pinwheel hat and the lollipop and the overalls. Which, like, if you've never heard Death Grips, like, it's not really what their music sounds like, so I think that's kind of the joke. And things kept getting weirder and weirder, which led to a guy at the Philly show actually peeing in the mosh pit. And then on Reddit, they were talking about someone who apparently went to multiple shows trying to suck people's toes. And this was all coupled in with like genuine accusations of like SA, harassment, and what sounded like an absolutely awful experience. On that same tour, they did a show in Arkansas where people kept throwing things on the stage to the point where Death Grips actually walked off and didn't come back. And these behaviors range from annoying to irredeemably disgusting. And none of these things are being done to honor Death Grips or to show any sort of respect to them. While they might have a knack for absurdism in their music, they aren't the ones encouraging these things. And some Death Grips fans will even say, like, if MC Ride or some of the other members of the band like saw this stuff, they would not approve of it. And they would probably find it corny at best. These actions, these outfits, and these memes, they're being done for the attention of other people in the crowd. And also probably for other people on the internet who are going to see pictures and videos of it later on. This is the case with the Mike chess game as well. Mike would be the first to tell you that he likes a good meme from time to time. And I've seen some funny memes with Mike's music in them. For example, a video of Ice Spice twerking to his song Nothing I Could Do Is Wrong. But doing that chessboard thing at his show is such a big distraction, like to the people who are playing the chess, people who are filming it, people who are in the general area and are just like distracted by this spectacle, and then to Mike himself. It's a step further from just wearing a silly outfit where like somebody might see you walk in and go, ah ha ha, but then they can just go about their show. At the absolute bare minimum, they're taking a spot in the front of the venue from someone who's going to actually watch Mike. And like the European fans, they don't get to see their favorite artists that often. Mike does tour a lot, but in a lot of these cases, like their favorite artists, their favorite rappers, like they might not be coming back for a long time. Mike's music is very introspective, and the moment caught on camera is while he's performing his song Stop Worry, which has a part about his late mother and his relationship with her, and with the grief of losing her as a frequent theme in his music. I peep your struggle and your pain, ma. I know my team. I wear your number when it's game time. That's from the song that was playing while the kids were playing chess. And he's rapping about the things he does to honor his late mom. And it's pretty bad timing to whip out a chessboard and make a joke about his music. Some artists are more outgoing about fan interaction. Tyler, the Creator, is a good example. He's on tour right now, and someone tweeted at him asking him to play songs from his album Cherry Bomb, and he responded to them saying, "Chant all you want, I hope you don't. It's mad annoying during the show, I'm not gonna play it. Chanting doesn't make me magically want to play it." Tyler isn't afraid of calling out fans on stage. There's tons of videos of him doing it. It's almost like the way that a comedian does crowd work. And Tyler is this brash, outgoing guy. You hear it in the music. You see it in the way that he does his interviews. I mean, he literally had a show on Adult Swim. Mike, on the other hand, has talked about his shyness and his anxiety in interviews and in the music itself. Even on that song Stop Worry that was playing during the video, he says, "How I'm the one who bring the fame around when I couldn't speak, and stuttering away caused the company to leave." Just because someone is a performer doesn't mean they're like naturally a super outgoing person. Mike deserves to be sitting in the driver's seat when it comes to deciding the vibe for his shows. All of this is to say it doesn't really seem like he would think that chessboard thing is like a funny thing to do at a show. And I think if you listen to Mike, if you follow Mike, like that would be kind of clear. There is an artist show where maybe something like that would be perceived as funny. It's just not a Mike show. Like he said in his response, like there's got to be at least one thing in your life that's sacred. To me, these stage things at concerts, from the chessboards to the coordinated silly outfits to the filming on a Nintendo DS, are all a part of this new genre of collective participation that blurs the lines of IRL and the internet. Something that Gen Z and Gen Alpha have made a big part of their culture. How different is wearing that pinwheel hat to the Death Grip show or bringing the chessboard to the Mike show from like wearing suits to go see the Minions movie like people did a couple years ago? To me, it's basically the same behavior just in different clothing, like metaphorically and also literally in different clothing. You're performing something in real life with the people around you at a ticketed event with like-minded people who are interested in the same thing. But you have a goal to get posted on the internet for the thing that you're doing. This is the generation of people raised on IRL trends that were all fostered on the internet. From the Harlem Shake and the Cinnamon Challenge and the Ice Bucket Challenge, to the milk crates that the CIA planted throughout all the neighborhoods during the pandemic. These big trends have both real life and virtual components, and the lines are blurred. The popularity of lookalike contests in 2024 is another good example. These are events that require people to go somewhere in real life and act a certain way based on the propagation of an online meme. This is a generation that craves community and connection, the same way that any generation would, but the way they seek it out has this blurred sense of reality because all they've known is internet connection their whole lives. To me, there's nothing wrong with going to the Minions movie in a suit with your friends, as long as you sit your ass down and listen when Kevin starts speaking. Don't distract others during the movie and it's fine. But a Mike concert, or any concert for that matter, is not a movie. There is a real person there standing in front of you, standing in front of hundreds or maybe thousands of people, performing what could be deeply personal songs. Your memeing can and will affect people's enjoyment of that, including the person performing. I hate to pull the curtain back on the Wizard of Oz for you, but the Minions aren't actually there when you're watching the movie. Yeet isn't backstage coordinating them like a show mom. Mike is really there, man, and people should show him some respect. He didn't agree to be a part of your meme. It's dehumanizing even if the people don't really realize that it is while they're doing it. But that's the point of talking about stuff like this, so that we can kind of collectively learn from it and move on and just be better, you know? Sure, there are people on the internet who are gonna say things like, they paid for a ticket, they can do whatever they want. And I'm not trying to say it should be illegal to bring a chessboard to a concert. But on the flip side, people are also free to criticize you for doing it if they think it's lame. And I see it as a learning experience and an opportunity for a reckoning as a society about what we should deem to be socially acceptable at concerts. Maybe the backlash from this will lead people to read the room a little better. And the takeaway from this is not that concerts should become these robotic rituals where everybody has to go and do the exact same thing and be on their best behavior like it's a classroom or something. It's about having fun while still being considerate to the other people around you who paid. And honestly, they paid or not, just the other humans around you. And also for the artist, who I feel like gets forgotten in this equation a lot. Just because the artist is getting paid to be there doesn't mean they leave their dignity in the green room when they go on stage. Then hey, not to pocket watch, but not every artist is making as much money up there as you might think they are. Touring is expensive as hell. So I saw this conversation going on. I felt like I wanted to jump in and just kind of unpack why people are doing the things that they're doing at concerts, what I think the best way forward is. I don't know, what do you guys think? Have you ever participated in something like this at a show? What do you want me to cover next? Let me know.